To say the least, it's been a sad week. The day I released my first Final Space video, I also saw a video by Olin Rogers himself, named Goodbye Final Space, which came out the 10th of September. If you don't know who Olin Rogers is, he is the man responsible for what we know to be Final Space, and not only did he create it, but he also does the voicing for Gary Goodspeed. I'll leave the link to this video in the description, but I'll summarise what he said here. He starts off by saying it's not good news of what he's going to say, and then he says that there's not going to be a Season 4 of Final Space, and my heart sank when I heard this. Then he said for now at least, well, I felt a bit better, but, I was still devastated. I feel without a Season 4 it's going to leave the entire story without an end, which will hurt everybody who loves the show so much. Personally, if I don't find out the ending of this show, I'm just going to make up my own ending, and it's going to be terrible because I have no creativity. Olin proceeds to explain that shows can't always survive mergers, and Final Space survived one, but couldn't survive the second. The show is owned by TBS, which is owned by Warner Brothers, who are going through another merger, and the changes in TBS means that Final Space has been discontinued, despite the amount of effort they put into preventing it. He then mentions the possibility of an hour-long special, most likely to conclude the story, but not to hold our breath, so it will be an extremely long time before we even get this, if we even get it. Olin then talks about how the show has beat his expectations and how it's about dealing with loss, loneliness, love, etc. And he then says that's how the cookie crumbles, which reminded me of Gary and made me even sadder. And how for going through mergers, a pandemic and different stations, they lasted longer than they expected. He then starts to tear up, which definitely didn't help receiving the news. But it showed how passionate he was for the project and how disappointed he is that it can't carry on. He continues to say how grateful he was for all his memories with the characters of Final Space, except for Kevin, obviously. He never intended it to end at Season 3 and says that if the opportunity ever comes up again, even in years to come, he's there to jump on it. The message that he's trying to say is to appreciate that what we have of Final Space, not only the episodes but also the games that are in the works, like a virtual reality game, and he says that it's extremely fun himself. He then thanks everyone who helped him make Final Space. The accomplishment he hopes Final Space achieved was to inspire at least one person to create their own story. And myself included, I'm sure the vast majority of Final Space fans have had that idea at least once. He ends the video by saying try your best, and you might say what if my best isn't good enough? Well, I would say it's good enough for me. Watching this video after a long day made me a bit emotional, not only because this great show has come to an end, but also the fact that Olin has put so much effort into it for it just to be cancelled. I'm going to be making a fair amount of Final Space videos in the near future, seeing as there's not going to be any more, and I'd like to cover as much as I can, like in memory of the show, because I do love it so much. And I didn't really know about Olin Rogers until about a year ago, when I was finding out when Season 3 was going to be released. But now, without a doubt, he is one of my role models, and seeing his project be cancelled was heartbreaking. Now, I know he has many more projects he's pursuing, but for his sake and the fans' sake, I pray that we get at least one more season. If not, then we'll just let Olin finish it. It's a show that has an incredible amount of potential, which has been flawlessly executed so far with the sacrifices in character development. My favourite example of character development is Ash. Spoiler alert. I find it astonishing how they managed to change her into an evil character who served Evictus through her love for Lil Carter. Olin and the team at Final Space are trying to persuade Warner Brothers, TBS and all that, to let us have one more season or just a finale, but I have a feeling it's not going to be for a while if it does ever happen. As per usual, let us know what you think and whether or not you think Final Space will or should come back. Like, subscribe, share with a friend if you want to, and I'll see you soon with another video. Thank you and goodbye.